So this is the iPhone 16 and the 16 Pro, but the question is it worth the hype? Is the new camera control any good? And which one is right for you? Well, in this video, we'll be taking a look at 5 new features on the iPhone 16, 9 new features on the Pro, 8 newish features that you'll find on both phones, and that may help you decide which one to go for, and some real-world photo comparisons show you what the cameras are capable of. Plus, taking a look at the new photographic styles and some things you should be aware of, and hopefully by the end of the video, you'll have some good reasons of whether you should be upgrading or sticking with your current phone. So let's start with cameras, or shall we say photos. I've taken some sample photos with both phones using the standard lens and the wide angle, and let me know in the comments if you can tell which photo was taken from which iPhone. So what are some of the new features you specifically get on the iPhone 16 compared to the 15? Well, now you get macro photography, which is quite nice. Battery life is improved slightly with an extra 2 hours compared to the iPhone 15, giving you 22 hours of battery life. You get the latest A18 chip. You get more vibrant colors compared to the previous generation. And this blue, ultramarine, I think it looks great. It's more vibrant. I hope I can get that on camera. There you go. And you know that thing about color theory, which makes certain colors make you feel a certain way? I think this is more fun and less boring. And believe it or not, it's the exact same dimensions as the previous iPhone 15, and it's lighter than the previous generation. That's right, a single gram. And of the two phones, between the standard and the Pro, if weight is a major factor to you, then the standard phone is the way to go. So what's new with the iPhone 16 Pro this time around? Well, in Apple usual fashion, you get the new A18 Pro chip. The wide angle camera is now a 48 megapixel camera. You also get 4K 120 frames per second for those that want to shoot super slow motion videos. The 5x optical zoom, which was on the iPhone 15 Pro Max, you now get on the 16 Pro, and the whopping 25x digital zoom, which is also available on the 15 Pro Max, now comes on the iPhone 16 Pro. You also get new JPEG formats, which can save a significant amount of disk space. You can access them under camera settings, formats, and then in Pro default, you can select 3 different formats. JPEG lossless can have files of around 70 megs, whereas JPEG XL lossy can have files of around 15 to 20 meg, which is like a 70% disk saving. But can you tell which photo is taken in which format? And as with the iPhone 16, the batteries on the Pro have been improved. You now get 27 hours of video playback compared to 23 hours on the 15 Pro. The 16 Pro has a slightly larger display of 16.3 inches. It's ever so slightly bigger, and compared to the iPhone 15 all round. It's heavier, it's gained a bit of weight, 12 grams heavier, which is about the weight of a AAA battery. It's not the end of the world. A phone case is around 30 grams, give or take, depending on the case. So it's kind of like an iPhone 15 Pro with a case. With the 16 Pro, if you get a case, it's like 2 cases. So with the 16 and 16 Pro, there are 8 newish things worth pointing out that you'll find common in both phones. For one, camera control, which you would expect only to be available on the Pro phones, but this year the standard phone gets it as well. And just like Apple fashion, you get the action button, which was only available on the Pro phones. You now get that on the 16 as well. You get Wi-Fi 7, but you will need a router or access point that supports Wi-Fi 7 to gain the full benefits. New photographic styles, which I particularly like. And again, it's nice to have this on the standard iPhone 16, not just the Pro models. I'll go into that a bit later in the video. Apple Intelligence, which is yet to be released, but the hardware is there. And if you're on the 15 Pro or Pro Max, you will be able to take advantage of Apple Intelligence when it gets released. It won't be available on the iPhone 15 standard, unfortunately. You can take spatial photos and videos on both phones. Spatial video is available on the 15 Pro models, But photos is an exclusive feature on the 16 models only, and you will of course need an Apple Vision Pro to take advantage of it. You get faster wireless charging on both. Audio mix, that feature where you can isolate someone's voice, is available on both phones, not just the Pro phones. Whether you find this useful or not, I guess it depends if you want to adjust the audio post-processing. If you're doing vlogs like this and you don't have a mic, you can at least, use the audio mix from this feature. Hopefully it sounds good enough. In this busy environment, I'm in a shopping mall. We'll find out if the audio is good. Lots of background noise, lots of people chatting, speaking, bar noises. Let's find out if it sounds any good. Excuse the pun. Now with camera control, is it any good and is it easy to use? Well, it has a 2-level touch button. Pressing hard is easy, it will launch the camera, and another hard press will take the shot. To launch the menu, you have to half press it or lightly press it, almost like a gentle click. Then you can scroll through the different options, and if you double click it, it will take you back to all the camera options. Then you single click to go into one of those options. Now I find this fiddly because it's getting that light press activation click or tap just right. I shouldn't say tap because it's not a tap action. You have to lightly press it, but not all the way down. You can of course just use the touch screen and scroll across the menus and just swipe to go to the menu. Whether this is going to change the way you use the camera, I don't know. It's early to say, I think. But at least you have a dedicated button to take a photo or video. You can adjust the sensitivity of the camera control. If you go to settings, accessibility, camera control, you will be able to play around with the settings there. Now the other new feature that's new on the iPhone 16 models is the new photographic styles. There are a few things to be aware of, but first, there are 2 ways to use this. One, you can use it just before you're taking a photo. You can choose the style or mood, and there are 15 of them to choose from. And that dotted grid on the side, you can play around and apply a particular tone and color effect to your liking. Or you can do it after you've taken a photo, which is probably easier. You can edit and apply the mood and tone just as I mentioned before. And I think this is a great feature because it gives another level of some color grading and adjustments similar to what can be achieved in Adobe Lightroom. I know it's not the same as Adobe Lightroom, which is more feature rich, and Lightroom comes at a monthly cost. But here, the iPhone 16, at the touch of a button, you can take some plain or boring photos and make them a bit more fancy. You can apply and set a default photo style so that any photo taken, that photographic style will be applied, and you can of course edit them after you've taken a photo. I think it would be nice perhaps to have the ability to save a few of these variations, a bit like LUTs, and then have a way you can apply them to photos that you like. But this feature only works when photos are taken in HEIF format. So if you take them in RAW or JPEG, you won't be able to apply the new photographic styles. But what about if you took some photos with an iPhone 15 Pro in HEIF format? Do they work? No, doesn't seem to work. I tried it, and you don't get the photographic styles appearing when you edit the photo, which is a shame. So deciding to upgrade is going to be different for everyone and your personal needs, and it depends what current phone you have as well. But I think it can be broken down into a few steps. First, try and identify 2 or 3 or 4 important features that matter to you most and in your daily life. Is it better battery, a brighter or larger screen? Does USB-C make your life easier? Do you take a look at photos and want a better camera? Will you use audio mix, Apple ProRes, RAW photos? The list goes on. Other features like action button, camera control, dynamic island, these I like to call complementary or convenient features, nice to haves. I don't think they're game changers, but some might find they are. But just try and find those features that really you care about the most. Then take those features and see if your current phone is offering them or they're missing. If your phone is significantly outdated and with those upgrades will make a noticeable difference. If yes, then it makes sense to upgrade. If, say, you're happy with your current phone and what it's capable of, and it's a pretty decent condition, things like camera control and photographic styles have no appeal to you, then there's no reason to upgrade. Maybe it's just the battery life and it isn't holding its charge as it did before. Then consider a battery replacement from Apple for around $100. If, on the other hand, your phone is worn out and needs to be upgraded, then it's on to step number 3. To go pro or not to go pro? That is the question. If size and weight is the sole important factor and budget, then the iPhone 16 is going to be the one for you. And if any of those iPhone 16 features I mentioned earlier in the video have no appeal to you and you won't find yourself using them, then why not go for the iPhone 15 where you can save even more money? And also check out Amazon. They tend to sell them a bit cheaper than the official website or the Apple refurbished store. Why pay more for things you don't use or need? If, however, say the 120Hz ProMotion display, telephoto, 3x, 5x zoom, Apple ProRes for raw photos, these features remain on the Pro models only. If any of those matter to you most, then it's the Pro models. And if none of the 16 Pro features stand out to you, then why not save some more money and go with the 15 Pro? You'll probably find the 15 Pro at a cheaper price on Amazon. Just make sure it's Amazon selling them and not a dodgy third-party seller. And maybe you might start to see them in the Apple refurbished store. And don't forget, by not upgrading, you save money, and by upgrading 2, 3, or 4 years, you're going to experience a better upgrade experience and features and performance because you're getting a batch of incremental updates all at once, making it a little bit more worthwhile and value for money. And you know how each year the Pro phone gets that Pro feature, then the following year the standard phone gets that Pro feature, dynamic island, action button, camera control, no wait. Camera control is available on both phones. So if there's no standout feature on the Pro models, what's going to be on the standard iPhone 17 going to get? The 120Hz ProMotion display, maybe? If so, does that mean there's a better display in the works for the Pro models? Who knows? I'm just speculating here. And if you want to watch a video about the iPhone 15 and 15 Pro comparison, check out this video if you haven't seen it already, or whatever YouTube recommends on this side of the screen. Thanks for watching. See you next one.